What's up, y'all? It's your boy, your big bro, coming back at you. It's been a while, I know. I already know. It's been so long. But let me just get right into the video. I wanted to talk about something that I've seen a lot and issues that I've seen with this big divide between males and females, girls and boys. So today, this subject is on cats and dogs, and it's kind of differentiating like our differences so that we can gain an understanding about each other. I think like a lot of the issue stems from not knowing the other side. So like if you're a male and you're only worried about male issues, guy stuff, all that other stuff, or like what girls have done to guys, then you're you have a very small window that you're looking through or that you're even trying to like that you even care about. So I only care about the development of men. And even on the other side where it's girls like, oh well, this guy's done this to me, and you don't really understand the other side, or like, oh like guys are like this, all guys are like this, all girls are like that. That mindset is kind of like stopping us and keeping us divided. And I feel like ultimately, to make sure that we're going in a decent direction, we need to have a level of understanding for both sides. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because I've seen like so many stuff like red pill guys or the manosphere versus feminism and like certain communities. And it just kind of divides like where we've both been. And it's unfortunate because like I feel like if we keep going into this direction, we're gonna act or we're gonna think that we just don't need each other ultimately, and it's going to keep us divided and going into a place that we shouldn't be. So I'm doing this video, and I'm pretty much showing you guys what I've learned, and I've realized that like when some girls don't know about these certain things and guys don't know about these certain things about girls and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go through 6 different subjects where I've seen us differ, and I'm going to explain the male side for me being a male and what I've learned from girls. You feel me? And like having a lot of female friends, having sisters and stuff like that. And I'm gonna break them down and like just to enlighten the men that follow my video and the women that follow my video, just so that you can know the other side and gain an understanding. So the first topic that I'm going to talk on is comfortability. Pretty much like where or how to know when that side is like either to know where when oh this man is comfortable versus to know where oh this woman is comfortable. So I'm gonna start off with the men. Most times, for a guy in public, it's it's not really most things aren't really a threat to guys, so they don't really think about that so much. It's more of a like it for myself especially. I go into a room seeing like, oh, what is the biggest threat in the room? Most times, if there's a lot of women, I'm not really gonna be worried. But if there's like a big dude there, then it's kind of like, okay, do I have the capacity, or do I think that I could take him on if it just went south all of a sudden? So that's the main like okay like thing that I like guys think about when it's like a proximity thing. Oh, who's the big bad guy in the room? Pretty much because most things aren't really just a blatant threat when it comes to guys and stuff like that. Now, relationally, like when it comes to relationships, to know a guy is comfortable with you or getting comfortable with you, it's usually when he allows himself to be either weak or show like his flaws and stuff like that, because now he's gotten to a level to trust you. So if it's like we've been I'm with this girl and we've been dating and stuff like that, then I can be honest about oh I've had insecurities about blah blah blah, or I struggle with this, or oh work was blah 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 today. And it's because most times when most guys do not have a solid outlet to let these things out. You might either talk about it with your boys who understand because they're going through the same thing. But other than that, if you ain't even got that, then you're not really going to talk about it. Maybe you'll talk to your parents or stuff like that. But even as a man, like, you don't always run to your parents when there's issues. So like, if a guy's comfortable with a girl, most times he'll give you little bits, and it's not going to be like all at once, girl, crying, all that other stuff. But if you get to see the small weaker parts of him, or he's open to sharing that with you, kind of like, okay, I'm taking my shield down for a second and letting you see my vulnerable side. That's when a guy must be comfortable with you and he trusts you. So that means, okay, there's trust involved now, and I'm letting you know something about me that ultimately could hurt me. You feel me? It could hurt me. You feel me? So, but I'm letting my guard down a little bit to an extent. So that means I'm now comfortable with you in some setting. So now for comfortability when it comes to girls, you feel me? First off, like when it comes to in public and proximity, girls really think of proximity. Like it's really like ingrained in their head. Like I ask my sisters and stuff like that, like I can tell when they're comfortable in a state, you feel me, versus when they're not. And even with my female friends, I can tell, like, because usually they're thinking about their proximity to things. And that's because a lot of things kind of can stem as a threat when it comes to women. So it's like, okay, well, I'm in a room. I'm the only girl in a room of 10 guys. If something went horribly wrong, I'm screwed. You feel me? Oh, if there's another girl around, that's another level of being comfortable because, okay, there's girls around. You feel me? I might not be the weakest link. You feel me? You feel me? So it's like girls really think of proximity. So when I realize a girl is comfortable with me, or if a girl is comfortable with you, it's usually she lets that guard down of her proximity and stuff like that in her space. She allows you to get in her space because most girls have this bubble of like, don't get around me. They think and they contemplate how close you are. So most times if a girl's comfortable with you or getting comfortable with you, then it's usually like, she'll touch you, she'll initiate touch, even if it's not just sexual, like it's just it could be just a normal touch, like push you or blah blah blah. So it's kind of like I'm not so worried about or fiending over proximity because I'm comfortable around you and such like that, stuff like that. And that's the same with relationships too. It's like, okay, like especially if she realizes that she's my girl and stuff like that and we're really close, then of course she's gonna like there's gonna be levels of touch involved. You feel me? Like she's that's the guard that she's gonna let down. Okay, touch and stuff like that. Because ultimately, if a girl just willy nilly with touch and stuff like that, it could end badly for her because a lot of things can threaten a girl when it comes to that. So it's like, okay, you gotta. They always think about that, so they have to be careful with it. The next subject, number 2, emotionally. So emotionally we differ because even being raised differently when it comes to this subject of having emotions. Guys struggle a lot with expressing emotions. So it's like I was like even when I was young, like every child's gonna cry to an extent, but every child's gonna cry, especially coming from a baby. You're a little kid, you cry when you need something done. You cry and stuff like that. But a lot of times, boys, when they get to a certain age, it's hey, stop crying, be a man. You gotta use stuff like that, and like they're trained. First off, they're trained to do that because the past generations was trained to do that same thing, and a lot of guys need to naturally know how to sustain and like hold their emotions so that they can get stuff done. So a lot of guys, they don't know how to outwardly express it. A lot of times, if a guy and a girl can be going through the same thing, but like outwardly, a girl's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh," she's going to show worry and stuff like that. But a guy could be sitting down just hitting one of these, like that, because a lot of the times, guys deal with stuff internally a lot. So like if I could be screaming, stressing, tripping, all that other stuff, but I'm dealing with it internally because I have never been in a place to show it externally. Like it's seen as weak for me to show it externally. So even when it comes to that and being hurt by a person, a lot of times guys don't like have outlets to show that other than like sports working out, the gym, stuff like that, that kind of gets that out, you feel me? But it doesn't mean that that hurt is healed, or I've fully got to express it and stuff like that. So it's more of like when stuff happens, hurt, you can see my hurt in through my actions and stuff like that. You feel me? Like unless you ask me straight up, oh, like about like a scenario, or have you been hurt in the past and stuff like that, you give me an outlet to do that, it's going to be shown mostly through my actions. That's why if a dude is hurt, you feel me, a dude is hurt, he becomes like this foul dog, he does all women wrong and stuff like that, you feel me, unless he goes to the other side. Like you could become a foul dog, or you can just be moving the same way and just be like, oh, okay, like, all right, well, bump it. You feel me? It was just that girl, or blah, blah, blah. It depends. But most times, guys kind of get in their head, oh, well, girls are foul anyway, so blah, blah, blah. Because they haven't had an outlet to deal with that emotion so that it doesn't go through their actions, Now, girls, they have been allowed to express emotions, and they're trained to express emotions. So they do a lot of things through emotions because they've been trained and they know how to deal with it. So like, just like my example, the guy is here dealing with everything internally. A girl is now expressing it. They're seeing it, they're showing it, they're saying it and stuff like that. So because they've been allowed to, you feel me? Like, and even what I've seen when it comes to hurt, you feel me? They express it, you feel me? And like a lot of the times what I've seen to stop, or to like stop themselves from being hurt, you feel me? Like girls always kind of remember in the background of their head, like in the back of their head, that like, okay, how I felt in this moment and what that person did. So like a lot of situations, if you hear like, oh, are you just like so and so, or you just like the rest, you just like da da da. Okay, that's a level of hurt that they either didn't like they haven't let go, or they're remembering it so that if I see it again and it happens, then it's like, oh, okay, well, you just like him. You feel me? I can't deal with you. You just like the last dude. You feel me? But whenever, for either one of the sexes, if what your past has happened or that has hurt comes into the next one, you have to deal with that in general. You have to take time, deal with that, and let that go so that you can move on to a better situation. Now, my third point, relationship-wise, boys and girls look for separate things relationship-wise. When it comes to guys, which this surprises, I've heard podcasts, I watch videos and stuff like that, where a lot of this surprises women, and like, just because on one side, guys have to know what girls want relationally to even go and like approach them. So it's like, if I don't have thus, and so, then I know I'm probably not going to get no play, or she's not going to mess with me. So it's like, for guys, I'm going to start with guys because I'm a guy myself. A guy goes out and deals with the entire world, you feel me? And he'll deal with the entire world for a woman so that she won't have to, especially if he loves her. So when it comes to coming home, outwardly, I got to deal with all this stuff, everything that's going on in the world. But when I come home, I need to have a level of peace. Because if it's a war zone out there, I come home and it's a war zone too, you feel me? I have no peaceful spot to go in. I'll do that for the woman that I love, but if I don't come home and there's peace, or like peace meaning that there's not too many arguments, there's not too many craziness going on, you're not tripping on me, like I know that you can maintain and keep my household, like I don't gotta worry about food or anything like that when I come home, then that's a level of peace you're lifting off of his shoulders, because he goes out, puts the world on his shoulders, carries it to maintain your relationship with her, our needs and our needs and desires. I'm doing it. I'm providing, but I need a level of peace in general. Like a guy really wants peace, and he also wants respect. A guy really cause outwardly same thing. Outwardly, you go out to the world, guys are disrespected in all different avenues. Guys disrespect other guys. Girls disrespect guys. You feel me? I need to have a level of respect when I come home. You feel me? So even attached to that, I gotta come home and you have to respect. I really want you to respect me. You feel me, for one, but at the same time, there's a level of respect that you also have to have for yourself for you to be attached to me. So that means not being overly promiscuous, not doing all these things on social media. Like you have to maintain and keep a place of I'm being respected and you're also being respected, because if you're disrespected, I'm also being disrespected. You feel me? So it's like if you're making a place for flirtatiousness to happen towards you, then to an extent you're disrespecting me because you're even allowing a place for a guy to disrespect me also. You feel me? So peace, respect, and there's an array of other things. I'm just giving y'all a couple because if I really did, I could break this down in another video. Just let me know in the comments and I might do the video. But now, relationally, when it comes to girls, there's like, and I was thinking about this, it's like 3 P's and an E. But like a few of them that I've seen is, first off, protection. A girl, when dealing out with life and the things that go on in life, there's a lot of threats. Even going back to being able to be comfortable for women, there's a lot of threats. As a man, she wants you to be that barrier between those. You feel me? I'm not saying, oh, jump in front of a bullet for your girl, or you feel me? Like, well, ultimately you're gonna want to do that. But like most situations, you're gonna want to keep her from her, like her dealing with other guys, stuff like that. You have to be that protection for her. So that means on levels you have to be a rock and protection, so that she doesn't have to deal with that stuff. She keeps you at peace at home, but when y'all are out, you also are that protection for her at all times. You feel me? At all times. So no matter what happens, like somebody disrespecting you, hey, bro, go ahead. I'm not saying slap them in the face. I'm not saying slap them in the face, but hey, if you're a man of standard and respect, your girl's also going to be respected and protected. You feel me? So it's like you have to be that protection. Another P, providing. Like most girls, when it comes to dating and stuff like that, they date up. So it's like if your girl work at McDonald's, you feel me, as an employee, she'll likely date the manager, you feel me, or she'll date somebody of higher standing, because naturally women want to be provided for. And men naturally want to provide for women. You feel me? It's a natural thing. When it comes to like a man's money is for his woman and his children, you feel me? And a woman's money is for her children, you feel me? Which is fine. That's not no big issue. So it's like I'm as a man, I'm the hierarchy, and my money goes down towards my family. A guy's naturally going to want to provide. So a girl is going to look for a guy who has the ability to provide. If you can't provide for yourself, like your money is finicky in your own pockets, then that's an issue. So it's like, oh, you can't save and do anything for yourself. You can't provide for yourself. You definitely can't provide for me when it comes to a girl. You feel me? So that's another thing. Emotional, this is kind of for both. Emotion, EQ. It's pretty much like your level of dealing with emotions. So you personally, as a man, need to know how to deal and handle your emotions, so that if your woman, to be in her feminine, wants to allow to show her emotions and let them out and express them, you feel me, you can also handle them. Because you got to know, all right, my woman's an emotional woman, she's gonna have feelings, you feel me, I'm going to have to be able to handle whatever she gives me. You feel me? I can't be all shaken, and I can't get mad every time she's mad. I can't get sad every time she's sad. But I have to be able to understand and allow her to have these emotions. At the same time, a guy, to be a part of his peace, you feel me? It's like, I really need you feel me, to have emotional intelligence. So like don't, if you're a girl, do not every time somebody says something crazy just haul off and trip out and like fight and go crazy, because you're not making it peaceful for him. Now you taking away peace. Every time we go out, like, and a girl looks at me or something like that, you about smacking her in the face. You're not being my peace then. You feel me? Like, a guy's really gonna want you to be peaceful. So even if you can express and have your emotions and feelings, you feel me, but just don't act on it. Don't make big actions in high emotion. You feel me? you can, as a man, I want my woman to be able to express herself and her emotions, but don't do anything that's going to disturb my peace. It got to be a balance. So yeah, and yeah, okay, yep. So my fourth is sexuality. It's definitely a lot of double standards when it comes to sexuality, and I've seen many conversations where like guys will express a plan and stuff like that, and then girls will likely get very mad, and like I get it, but there's a double standard on both sides. So let me start with men. When it comes to men, right? Everybody sees a man as like, when it comes to their sexuality, that it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. A guy's gonna, you feel me? It's gonna happen. So it's like when it comes to that, like even think of it as a dog, like a dog gonna hump. A dog is gonna hump. You feel me? Everybody know a dog is gonna hump. You feel me? So it's like, it's gonna happen. So when it doesn't, it's kind of like, okay, you weird. You feel me? Like most times when you're a young man, you feel me? When you're growing up as a kid, they just want to see an inkling of sexuality towards the opposite sex, just to know, like, oh, okay, where you at? What you feel me? Just to know where you're at as a boy. You feel me? They don't really want to see it when it comes to girls, because their sexuality is seen as more, there's more of a value when it comes to it, which I'll divulge into going further. But even when it comes to men and being virgins, you feel me? They kind of like, when a guy's a virgin for too long, then it's usually seen as an issue. So it's like, okay, like you weren't able to pick up or talk to any girls. That's weird. You doing something wrong. You ain't never had any like want to be sexual and stuff like that. Oh, there must be something wrong. So like a lot of times when it comes to men's sexuality, if it's not expressed or done, a lot of the times they're seen as something weird. Now, it's the opposite, unfortunately, for both sides when it comes to women. Like your value is already your value is already established. It's just something that you have to keep. So a guy can have 25 bodies, you feel me? And like then he's the man, because it's women give the access. So if 25 women gave them the access, you feel me, gave him, the man, the access, then he's seen as valuable, because it's something that you have to work towards. Now, unfortunately, on the vice versa, when it comes to girls, if a girl has 25 bodies, you feel me, it's not seen as valuable, because it's easy to mess with a man. You feel me? They don't give the access. The woman does. So it's kind of like, and plus, first, I'm going to get into the analogy shortly. But when it comes to virginity, when a girl is a virgin, it's seen as valuable, because that means you didn't give access to nobody. You didn't give access to nobody. And when guys see that, it's like sometimes they're scared. When they're not taking you seriously, then they're scared. Like, oh snap, like I don't want to mess with a virgin. But if they're taking you seriously and you're a virgin, it's kind of like, oh, lit. Because a lot of guys are territorial. They want what they want and need. They want it to be exclusively to them. You feel me? This is mine. Ain't none of y'all touch it. Forget y'all. That's really ultimately what a guy wants. So that's why in most relationships, if a woman is really involved in promiscuity, then a guy's kind of like, no, I'm good. You feel me? Honestly, if he's taking her seriously. If a guy's not taking her seriously, he'll do whatever he gonna do and then just move on. But if he knows that you are highly promiscuous, it also goes back to him being respected. If you're really promiscuous and like you got like 5 bodies, and I go out and all 5 of them dudes know you, then it's giving place of respect. And then if I'm not respected by men out there, then now my piece is messed up, and then there's issues now. So now a lot of guys they're not good with that. That's why when you see guys out here, you got to be a pretty solid individual to wife or sustain or stay with somebody a woman who is promiscuous. I'm not saying nobody's going to do it,